Good morning. So it's Sunday morning where I am, and I thought it would be fun to chat a little astrology with you over coffee. I'm sitting outside on my patio, and you can ask me anything. So first, one of my favorite things to do in the morning is to light some incense. So I'm going to do that now. My matches work. I just realized, I think I said it's Sunday morning. It's actually Saturday. That tells you where my brain has been. It is Saturday. Saturn's Day. So a little incense for you. This is a blend that smells fucking amazing. It's called Happiness. Let's see, there we go. That's good. So I wanted to speak about a few things as far as what's going on right now. And some of you saw I started making weekly videos again. But I wanted to address not just what's happening astrologically, but also the things that may come up during this time. So I've heard a lot of people, especially during eclipse season, say how they feel more sensitive or it feels unstable and that kind of thing. And so I just wanted to speak to that because I feel like that's important, and that is definitely a phenomenon that's happening. So I posted about this just now as well. I actually posted a quote from Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher, where he said that when you're caught in desire, you can't see the mystery of the world. And when you are connected with the mystery, then you're connected with the unseen world. And he also said they come from the same source. And so this, to me, really speaks to eclipse season, to eclipse time, but it also speaks to the experience of a person who happens to already be highly connected to the unseen world. A person who already maybe identifies as highly sensitive or empathic. Those are terms that we use that I think sometimes terms can be problematic, but we have to use terms in some way. So my point is, during eclipse season, for someone who is already very sensitive to unseen energy, it can feel like a wave of instability. It can feel like a heightening of your sensitivity. And this can happen even for someone who maybe doesn't identify as highly sensitive or doesn't identify as empathic. And I think that there's a few different ways that we can see this playing out, and then a few different ways to approach this depending on your temperament. So I just want to say hello to everyone. So nice to have you all here. Hi, Angel of Seas. Hi, Angelina. So this is the thing, and again, this is why I think the Lao Tzu quote speaks very well, because he said the manifestations, the material, and the mystery, the unseen, those are coming from the same source. Now, as a therapist in training, I would relate this to the source being the unconscious, maybe even the collective unconscious, if we're going to use Carl Jung's work. And energy is present everywhere. Like, everything is connected. You can sense what's going on with someone or with something. You get a feeling about something. Like, we all have this. And some people are more naturally connected to it than others. There's actually been scientific studies on a trait called sensory processing sensitivity, SPS. And that basically is scientific data talking about the phenomenon of the highly sensitive person, where someone's their nervous system is actually keyed up to be more sensitive to stimulus. And so that the nervous system is like very subtle and it's very delicate, and that is a part of our it's a part of our what do I want to say, like a part of our sensing process. So this relates to intuition as well. And so I share this because this is a time where this is heightened for everyone during the eclipse season. And it's something that you may experience even within regular lunar cycles. You may experience this especially around the time of the new moon and the full moon. Again, it may simply be because your nervous system, your sensory system is more delicately tuned to sensing something that is unseen. So there's also other ways that this can manifest, especially for people who maybe it's too much. And so let's talk about that. So I could see someone, especially during eclipse season, feeling overwhelmed by the sensory energy, by the subtle energy. We could call that spiritual energy, but essentially it's like unseen energy that's coming in. And that can look like feeling very ungrounded, sort of like you're in a fog or you're in a dream. It can look, so that's like that's like more what I would call maybe the Neptunian state. People that have a strong Neptune in their chart are, of course, more prone to being that way, where there's kind of like a detachment. Neptune is also about detachment. And detachment and attempting to numb in order to cope and those kinds of things. So that can also look like feeling spacey or just kind of feeling like out of it, like you're not really fully present in your body. And so if that is something that you're experiencing during eclipse season or just any old time at all, it helps to counteract that by being in the physical, because there's an excess of the unseen energy. And so like really eating good foods, doing activities that are soothing for your nervous system, things like walking, things like consciously eating very slowly, things like putting lotion on your body in a way that is like slow and thorough, taking baths, or anything else that just helps you feel more inside your physical body. And for some people, they need the assistance of a professional body worker because there is so much disassociation, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, something that we do as humans in order to cope with what's happening. So there's other ways that this can manifest as well. And so also I'm going to read comments as I'm going through and questions. So if you have questions, leave them in the comment. I think there's a way for you to like specifically ask a question in here too. And so this time is just for us to chat and for me to answer any questions that you have, about astrology, high sensitivity, etc. Okay, let's see. So Angelia says, I'm assuming this is especially true when people were born around the nighttime. Oh, good question. When people are born around the nighttime or were born during potent lunar times. Yeah, let's talk about that. So there's a technique in traditional astrology where you look at if a person was born during the day or during the night. And it's said that a person who is born during the night, they are more connected to the moon, Venus, and Mars. This technique is called sect, S-E-C-T, sect. So were you born during the day or during the night? And so people that were born during the night, their luminary, is the moon versus the sun. Someone born during the day, their luminary is the sun. So you could say that someone born during the night, they're going to have more of this connection with the qualities of the moon, with the unseen, with emotions, and with cycles. Now, I think I personally find that sect is definitely something to consider. But when we're talking about someone who is prone to being like really connected to unseen energy, I think it's so much more than that. Like I really see where they either have a strong Neptune aspect, like maybe Neptune is an aspect to the sun or the moon or the rising or one of the other personal planets, and they have planets in the 12th house, the 8th house, or the 4th house. Because those houses, especially the 12th and the 8th, those are like all about the unseen worlds, the unseen energy. The other thing I look for too is if someone is born during a new moon. So this would be during the crescent new moon or during the dark moon. And you know this if your sun and moon are like maybe they're either in the same sign or they're in signs that are just one sign apart. So what you can do, like if you're familiar with your chart, and Angelina, I know you are just a bit, you can sort of do like a diagnostic for yourself. You can look at like, okay, what is very present in my chart? Is it Neptune? Is it 12th house? Is it 8th house, etc.? And through looking at just like very simply the keywords, you can start to hone in on, okay, what is it that is actually here? Because to me, the 12th house unseen energy is very different than the 8th house unseen energy. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, if someone's born during the night, they're definitely going to be more connected to the moon. But when we're talking about like someone who is like very prone to psychic phenomena or to being like super intuitive, like those, I tend to see it more dramatically in lots of layers. Okay, she says, okay, that makes so much sense because I'm a Sag rising, and it's my 12th house, and I deeply resonate with my philosophical side. Oh yeah, okay, that totally makes sense. Awesome. Good question. Let's see, I saw a couple of other questions here too, or let's see, this one. Okay, hang on guys. Okay. Cool. So, as far as during eclipse season, feeling overwhelmed by unseen energies, there's another way that this can come up. Marianne Woodman, the psychotherapist, Jungian analyst, really spoke about this idea of somaticizing feelings, and other people have spoken about it, of course, but I love her work. And she spoke about how if there is an energy that is sort of like trying to come through someone and they don't have the capacity to deal with it, it expresses itself through the body in a physical way. So this is going to be different than someone who, like I was speaking about, has like a strong Neptunian influence where they disassociate from the body in a certain way. Again, this is like not to say that that's bad or wrong. It's just something that we do in order to cope, in order to survive psychologically. So in contrast to disassociating, sometimes symptoms will manifest in the body. And this can be mundane things, to just like tension in the body, like tension in the shoulders, upset stomach, or it can manifest as something, especially I find this with chronic issues, it can be like a chronic pain that doesn't seem to like really be moving or doing anything. And it can be something like that. It can be an illness. Again, like I'm talking about this, not that your psychology causes physical pain in the body. Like sometimes an illness is simply an illness. We see this with COVID, like it's simply COVID. It's not if you get COVID, it's not that you did anything wrong psychologically. It is something that is just very present in our world. But I'm talking more about like thinking symbolically, especially around physical symptoms where you can't really track it back to anything, and it's something that you struggle with over a long period of time and nothing really seems to work. Like those are the kinds of things that I find we can find a psychological root in, if that makes sense. I'll give you an example. So when I first started therapy a few years ago, I had like this chronic pain in the left side of like right where my shoulder blade was. And I was like doing lots of like body work. I was like exercising and doing yoga, and I was eating very well. Like I was very like on point with my physical routine. And so it was just very strange. And that point in time was like very difficult emotionally. And that pain was like this sharp, sharp pain. And for those of you who are familiar with body work or with the chakras, you know that this area behind the shoulder blades is the back of the heart. The heart is related to, of course, love and connection and feeling open to connecting. It's also related to grief. Grief and like guilt and shame to a certain extent as well. And those were things like that was like some main content that I was working through in therapy at this time. And at a certain point, after sort of like upheaving and shifting through some like really dense psychological material, that chronic pain that I had, it just sort of went away. And again, I'm not saying that like, you know, therapy is or like talking about your problems is the way to get rid of all of your physical pain. It unfortunately doesn't work that way. But in this case, that was like a really interesting somaticizing of something that was psychological in me that I was like really working on, and it was in my physical body. So this is another way that that your mind, your emotions, your unseen energy, the mystery, can manifest in the physical, in the body. And so I think that there's a way for us to find an outlet. And again, Marion Woodman talks about this. There's a way to find an outlet for the unseen energy so that it doesn't have to manifest in the physical, so that it doesn't have to be difficult. So what does that look like? So to me, that looks like ritual. That looks like creating a space for you to be with yourself. So that can be through going for a walk, through meditation, through talking to yourself, through journaling, or talking to yourself through prayer, or speaking to loved ones or ancestors, or any other helpers or guides that are unseen that you speak with. That can be a way to find like an outlet for this energy. And I think just like it sounds very simple, but just really creating the space that frankly, it's been lost in our modern world, you know. There's so much emphasis on completion and creation and going and doing and the output. And when we're talking about unseen energy, especially in this eclipse season, we're thinking more about the output that comes from something like very sacred and deep inside. And we're also talking about the input, like the input of something that feeds you, something that nourishes you. And so if you're interested in working more with this, you are more than welcome, very welcome to join me for the New Moon Circle that I'm hosting tomorrow night. So that is tomorrow, Sunday, the 13th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And so we will talk about this new moon solar eclipse, specifically like what exactly is going on here, not just the sign, but also other planetary energy that is present and what to expect for the time ahead. And we'll do a guided meditation with an energy clearing of Reiki and Diksha. And some other little fun things. So I'm really excited to host a New Moon Circle and to share this special time with you, because it is a special time. Eclipses are always a special time. New moons are always a special time. And if you're looking for a place to be and to like have that outlet, then this is a really great opportunity. It is, so how to sign up, it is a sliding scale, $10 to $15. Give what you can. You can either message me or you can just Venmo me whatever it is that you like. My Venmo is Astro-Shauna. And again, you can just message me as well. So it's tomorrow night, Sunday the 13th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm wishing you a super wonderful day, wonderful rest of Saturday. And I'll talk to you soon.